I am the Headless Headhunter, a corporate recruiter here to review your resumes to get you ahead of your job search. So, the first resume we have on the docket, I don't even know if I'm using the word docket right, is a marketing director. This person has a 100-to-1 ratio, which is not great. So that's 100 applications to 1 interview. And I just want to let everybody know, the worst resumes I've seen in my life as a recruiter, besides nurses, are always going to be graphic designers and marketing people. Marketing people and graphic designers have the worst resumes as a group. And the problem with that is a resume is not to showcase your skills. Your resume is not a marketing document. People say that. I think they're wrong. It's not to show how brilliant you are or how pretty your thing is. All it is to show the minimum qualifications. So 100-to-1 is not good, but this definitely could be a lot worse. What we're going to be looking for in a marketing director, and this is a marketing director, not a director of marketing. So a director of marketing would be like a leader who does the whole department. A marketing director is more of an IC position. Sometimes marketing is very weird with its title specifically. So I'm assuming this is more of an IC position. You are directing basically the parts of the marketing, but you're not really leading other people. So what we're going to need is education, which should be up at the top. MS Office suites or suits. I never remember which that is, but you need that. MS Office is huge. Positive sales results. So we need to see your success. B2B, SEO, I need to see the type, so digital, print, and there's probably a couple of others that my brain is not working of right now. Stakeholders, both inside and outside, I need to see that you can multitask, that you've used... that one I don't think is correct. That was wrong. That you've used customers, referral sources, and the community. And extra credit would be Adobe Creative Suite and the web management platforms like WordPress. This is a bonus, and ideally I want to see about 75% of this. So let's begin. This formatting is horrible, which is what I expected. They also fully put their contact information, and what's above this that nobody can see because I don't want to dox them is way worse. So please, for the love of all that is holy, all the recruitment gods, use this formatting. This formatting is boring and basic, and that's what gets people jobs. Marketing people and graphic designers have the worst resumes. Good marketers and good graphic designers have terrible resumes. So use this formatting. There's so many things wrong with this. Stop with all the crazy colors. This should be one line. None of this should be bolded. Education should be up at the top. That is a hill I will fight on. But let's see at least if the rest of the bullet points are good, because bullet points are more important than formatting. So let's see. Served as marketing director for 5 different brands. See, you don't necessarily have to tell me what brands they are, but I would like to know what industry they are, because I don't know, if you're doing say SaaS versus shoes, it would be different. And I want to know what industry you were specifically in those brands are. In addition, this could probably be added stuff. So served as a director of marketing for X, Y, and Z industries, right? With where I used X and Y to do A and D. That is what I want to see. This is not really a great sentence. Spearheaded a complete rebrand for strategic dining service with increased valuation from $1 million to $2 million in 4 months. This is not bad. I need you to basically make this a little easier to parse. What is the increase in valuation? But actually do very much like this. This is an okay brag, but I want to know how you did that, right? How did you don't need to say spearheaded a complete rebrand. You could say rebranded our strategic dining services using X, Y, and Z. So using MS Office, using B2B, you wouldn't really use B2B, using for SEOs, in digital media and print media, talking to stakeholders, etc., 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 which resulted in an increase of X evaluation from 1 to 2 million within 14 months. So again, the impressive part is not necessarily this, it's the keywords and how you use them. But that is actually good because you do need to show your success. So you need to add the keywords here. So collaborated with sales leadership to design and implement a comprehensive account management. Okay, so programmers only increased qualified lead. But how did you do that? What did you do? I need to know. Collaborated with sales is okay, but you could say worked cross-functionally with sales to design and implement in blankety blank using blankety blank, which resulted in blankety blank. Drove marketing sales to be proactive for providing weekly one-on-one support to the sales team. The weekly one-on-one support to the sales team is actually pretty solid. And championing the integration of AI to deliver high-performance products. Okay, but what pipeline challenges? You're not telling me. A good sentence is what, how, why. I need all of those. A lot of these have how and why, or what and why, or what and how, but I need all of them. Revamp the marketing department's project management system, streamline it with sales, enhancing leadership. I don't know if this is needed as much. No, this would be good. It just, again, I don't know how you used it. Because remember, if it's not a keyword, I don't really care. And showing success in a marketing director is good, but I need more. Led and manage the integration and company-wide adoption of HubSpot, onboarding marketing and sales team while connecting for him actually CRM, streamline workflows, optimize. This is okay, but it doesn't give me enough. So this is not the worst resume. It's not good. It's not a good resume. It's 100-to-1 ratio, which is why it's a bad resume, but it's not like the worst. I don't want people to think, this is the worst resume this recruiter's ever seen, but it's not good. And one of the bigger problems beyond formatting, which is awful, and I knew it was going to be bad formatting because they were a marketer, but I need keywords, right? And even if these are not all the keywords that I would need for the types of position in your area, I need more, right? I need MS Office. I need your education up top. Education should always be up top unless you're like a director, manager level, but not marketing director, but like director of marketing. Marketing titles get really weird sometimes. So like, I need your education up at top. It was in a lot of job descriptions. It is a qualification. I need to see the type of industry. I need to see what was strategic dining service. I assume it's food, but you also probably did other stuff. I need to see you talk with stakeholders, which you kind of did. I need to see B2B or SEO. I need to see MS Office. I do. I do see positive sales results, which is good. I think that is solid. I think this is great. And I don't know if this is as great, but this is actually pretty solid, this part. I just need more. So yeah, the formatting is awful, which I knew. Worst resume I've ever seen. But the bullet points are a bigger problem than the formatting. And I just don't know enough about this, because all I kind of know is you made something go from 1 million to 2 billion in 14 months. You used AI, which is not really something I'm really looking for in this. And you worked with marketing and sales, which is good because it's kind of cross-functional. So this is your problem. It doesn't really tell me what I'm actually looking for. So you need to, as a marketer, which I'm sure you do, is know your audience and what they're looking for. It's not really all of this. It's this. So let's go to the next resume. But before I do, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And if you need more help, join my Twitch stream. That's where I get the keywords from. It's twitch.tv/headless headhunter. The link is also in the description below. All my resume reviews are free, and you can submit yours in the description below as well. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of I have no idea. So you see a bunch of those, Lee. What do you mean you have no idea? It says full stack developer, back end developer, and front end developer. Well, guess what? All of those have radically different keywords. You need to pick a stack. So for everybody just graduating, this doesn't count for internships. Internships are generalized. This is specifically for when you graduate. You absolutely need to pick a stack. You need to pick full stack or back end or front end. And if you pick back end, you need to specify if you're Java or Python or C or whatever else, or Skibbity. So you cannot have a resume that is both a full stack, back end, and front end. Yes, I'm aware full stack is back end and front end, but what they're looking for in full stack is ironically very different from what they're looking for in back end and front end. I know, it's bizarre. IT is weird, but so I'm going to keep this with full stack. These are the... Okay, well, I messed that up. These are the full stack qualifications, all right? Right here. This is not the qualifications for back end, nor is it for front end. I am aware of how weird that sounds, but that's how the industry works. I don't know. I don't make the rules. I just teach you how to win the game. So we are going to be looking for TypeScript, Python, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Node, Angular, Next.js, or MongoDB, SQL, React.js, API, REST, Cloud, Agile, CI/CD, cross-functionally. Cross-functionally is a little bit more of a bonus, but it is nice to have. And architecture, extra languages, or GI. That should be Git. That should be Git, not GI. So these are bonuses, but these are what I want to see. Primarily, this is the most important, and SQL and React and API. So let's see if this resume has it. They said they're not job hunting until their resume is done after adding 2 more projects. You should still apply even with a bad resume. Sometimes you can get lucky. I teach you how to control about 70% of the process, enough to get a job, but every once in a while you apply, you get there first, somebody sees something on your resume they like that is very lucky and not industry standard, and you get a job. So keep applying even if you're not done with your resume. And they apply through the company websites and through LinkedIn. That is how it works. LinkedIn will take you to the website typically. Indeed also works, although LinkedIn is probably a little bit better for IT. All that, let's look for the actual keywords. Formatting is bad, but not the worst I've ever seen. So again, please use this formatting. There's a reason it is basic and boring. It is good. I need to fix this. There should be a single space here, not like 3. But yeah, so formatting's off. This should not have a line. Nothing here should be bolded. Education should be at the top. Do not, oh God, they're going to miss that. Education should be at the top. All right. I don't know why people fight me on this one. This is the weirdest fight I've had with everybody. Education should be at the top unless you are a very, 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 very high level manager or director. And again, the last person was a marketing director, not a director of marketing, which is different. Marketing has weird job titles. So yeah, this should be up top. Education should be up top. The education should be bolded. This should not, and it should be one line. You can fit this in one line. It'll be fine. Do keep your GPA, especially if you just grad. Then you should have your work experience. So September to present. Developed a high-performance website for BMW using Next.js, Node.js. That's actually solid. PIMcore, PHP, Redis, OpenSearch, and Docker. Here's the problem. This is good for full stack. This is good for front end. PIMcore, Redis. PIMcore and PHP. Docker is good for Python backend. This is 3 separate keywords for 3 separate jobs. That's why you don't want to do this. So Next.js and Node.js are what you keep. You don't really need the rest of this. I don't know what OpenSearch is. Maybe I'm missing that one, but you probably don't need it. Also, don't bold this. Stop bolding things. But I need to see TypeScript, Python, JavaScript, and CSS. So Docker, I know Docker is used through Python, but it's not really used as much in full stack. It's more for the back end. So refactored legacy code base, reducing API, that's actually okay. I don't care about the 40%, but you did say API. Optimized backend, this can be safely deleted. I don't care about anything in this section. You develop many reboot component in React. That's good. I think React. Yeah, React is good. Cutting front-end development time by 30%. Again, stop bolding everything. Stop bolding everything. Stop bolding everything. It makes it worse. This should be bolded. This should be bolded. This should be bolded. Your name should be bolded. This should be bolded. Nothing else. Nothing else. Led the system to implement client roles by analyzing code base, creating architecture design, and building time solutions. This is okay. Architecture design diagrams. I really want to know more. I like the fact that it said led system design if client requested features, but I need more. So here's the problem. This is why it's not going to work. You have only a couple keywords that I'm looking for full stack. You have Next.js, Node.js, API, and that's it. Yeah, that's it. So where is the TypeScript? Where is the JavaScript? Where's the CSS? Where's the HTML? Where's the Python? Where's the SQL? I need SQL. Where's the REST? Where's the cloud? Maybe you didn't do cloud. That's okay, but ideally we want to have it. Where's the CI/CD? Where's the agile? I'm going to be calmer on cross-functional because that's in between a bonus point and something that is needed. So that is why this resume is not going to work as much. You have a couple of them, but you need other stuff. So MVC, that's not, I don't really care. Don't care. REST API, I do care. Node.js, I do care. Management MongoDB, good. On there, perfect. This is a solid sentence. Built secure REST APIs with Node.js and Express for authentication and job management MongoDB. This is your best darn sentence in the whole resume. All right, I want you to write the rest of them like this. I don't know if Express is really needed, but whatever. The rest of it is fine. So this is what I want to see, okay? I want to see that. I don't see anything here besides SQL, which is good. Again, it doesn't count if they're here. It needs to be here, okay? So you do need to rewrite your resume. You should still apply with this because despite how harsh I am on this, this is not the worst resume I've seen. I think this could get a few interviews, but it's still going to be a slog because like you do actually have the keywords here, sort of. They're everywhere, so it's hard to find. Nothing is formatted correctly, and you bold everything, which makes it hard to see. But there are some keywords. So to recap, fix the formatting, education up at the top, then it's work experience, then it's projects. I want you to write your projects here like you wrote this sentence right here, all right? And I need this stuff. This is the stuff I need. I found about 40 to 50% of that. I need 75. The break point is usually about 75% to get to an interview, and it needs to be written in a what, how, why format, just like you did down there. This is good. I like this right there. So let's move to the next resume. This is a resume review of an infrastructure manager, sort of. So this person's from Australia, and they say they love my videos. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And it's also really cool that people are in Australia. I want to be clear, I'm a U.S. recruiter. I don't know the job market outside the United States as much, but I have gotten people jobs outside the U.S., so I guess it's salient out there. And this person is in IT systems infrastructure, but we're not actually trying to look for IT infrastructure jobs. They want to do more transitioning to management. So I'm instead going to focus not on the tech stuff, because it's going to be a little bit different, but mainly more on the manager portion. So they're trying to move to the manager. So formatting wise, I'm not a huge fan of this. I will be honest, but it is okay. So here's what we want to look for, right? Managers, there's a couple of things, and you're not going to necessarily have all of those depending on your career level, but these are ideal. We want to see hiring, firing, and performance reviews. Those three words, hiring, firing, performance reviews, are gold standard for management positions. They want to know that you hired. They want to know that you fired. They want to know that you have done performance reviews. Those are huge and gigantic, and you 1000% need them. But maybe you're not that experienced yet. Here's how you do it. If we've done lead, right, senior systems engineer, are you a lead engineer or lead or just senior? We want to see that you have led other people, that you have supported teams. Microsoft 365 is used a lot in management, should be there. I misspelled it. Develop and maintain needed policies and procedures. Managing projects, overseeing the project. So the big goal of a non-IC resume, which is essentially a manager position, is we're not trying to see that you succeeded. We're trying to see how you let other people succeed. All right. So like if I said I solved world hunger, that's amazing. But they're not going to care. They want to know, due to how I did, based on my hiring, firing, and supporting my team with documents and policies, we cured world hunger. That they want to see. So here is what we do. Worked in a team of 4 to, again, I'm not a huge fan of all of this. Well, the search you may need. The search for infrastructure you probably need, so this section should be good. Also, you should have your education up top. Education search should be the same section. It should be up top. Everybody fights me on that. Y'all are wrong. It should still be up top, except for very, very high level managers, but this person is not. So, yeah. So what we need, work the team of 4 to manage, maintain. Again, this is managing the product. I need you to manage the people. Serve as the subject matter expert. SME is good, but you do need to actually spell it out first. So put subject matter expert, and then in brackets put SME. But here, an acting team lead. Well, here's where I want to focus on. I want to know how you led the team. So far, all of this is how good you are at the product, how knowledgeable of the product. But for manager positions, I don't care. I want you to have 20% of the product knowledge and 80% of the managing people knowledge, because there are a lot of people that know the product and are bad managers. And a very, very good manager cannot understand the product as deeply, but still be successful. Ideally, you want them to understand the product, but So I want to know how you led. How did you act as team lead? What did you do? Led the infrastructure. Again, here, you're not telling me that you led the team of it. You're saying you led the product. I need to see how you led the people. So would this succeed as an infrastructure person? Probably, yeah. I didn't look at the keywords for that, but there's a lot here and it seems like you're having success with it. But for management, I need more. I need you to focus less on the technical stuff and more on the team lead. How did you manage the team of 4? Again, like, if this is your first management job where they're not really expecting you to solve everything, but I need to know how you manage the people. That is what a manager does. There are hands-on managers and hands-off managers, but both of them need to still be able to interact with the people. And I don't see anything of this through that. So this is why this resume fails. Now, again, probably working for IT tech stuff, that's good. But for management, I need you to focus on the lead, right? Acting as team lead. How? Not leading the product, Did you do budget for the product? Did you coach others on it? Did you train other engineers on it? That's what I want to know. I want to know how you worked with the people, and then there's a little product sprinkled on as well. So that is what I want to do. So that's how you need to fix this. Now, you should still have the keywords for the product, but you need to focus on the people. That's what the management stuff is. So, because if you're trying to jump to manage a team of people, you need to make sure that you show that you've managed some, and it looks like you might have, but this is the only thing I even have that shows you manage people. So you're going to have to, unfortunately, probably redo a lot of this resume. Maybe copy paste a couple of the keywords for the tech stuff, but I need to know how you worked with the people. I need to know that you hired, that you fired, that you did performance reviews. Did you review others' code? Did you interact with them at meetings? Did you lead meetings? Did you create documentation for other people? Those are the things that I'm going to be looking for. So let's go to the next resume. Again, probably a highly successful like IC resume, but you're not looking for IC. So this is a resume of a human resource coordinator. So this person graduated a bit ago. They had to pause their career for an issue, and now they're starting up again. So they were a new grad auditor. Their experience as a director of human resources for a university club. And basically they want to get into HR, which I will be perfectly frank with you, now is not a good time to get into HR. Whenever the job market is bad, HR and recruiters are the first to go, and technically recruiters are HR, but recruiters and HR don't consider each other the same. It's a weird thing. So they have watched my stuff before and they try to emulate the content. Thank you very much. So there are a couple of different titles for this. I will say this is the case of it's not necessarily one job title that has the same skills, because a HR administrator, HR assistant, and administrator are probably going to have largely the same skills. For a talent acquisition coordinator, though, it's going to be different. So again, in a very weird turn of fate, that even though recruiters, which is what a recruiter/TA, even though they are under the HR umbrella, most cases recruiters' job duties are radically different from HR. Sometimes they ask HR to do it, but it's very different. So you should search for HR admins, assistants, and coordinators as one bunch, and then make another resume for talent acquisition or recruitment. So for specifically HR coordinator, what we're going to be looking for, this is not a crazy amount. We're going to look for your degree. We're going to look for that you've used an HRIS, which is a human resource information system. That is what Workday is, more so than an ATS, along with Dayforce, TriNet, whatever. Anyone, as long as I know it's an HRIS, you're good. Along with Microsoft Word application, Excel, Outlook, and PowerPoint, that you can multitask, that you've done HR stuff before, and you have attention to detail and accuracy. Those are kind of all I'm going to be looking for. There weren't a ton, but so normally people assume that if they make a spelling mistake in a resume, they're immediately rejected, and truthfully not really. But if they say attention to detail and accuracy in the job description and they catch a spelling mistake, then you will probably be rejected. So this one, we want to make sure this is right. So the thing I've noticed here is I don't know what font you used, but it's not correct. So this is in almost the right format. Arial 10.5. Chat and me have been trying to figure out what actual font this is, and we don't know. But yeah, Arial 10.5 is what we're looking for. So I don't know what this is. This is the wrong font. Just change it to Arial 10.5. So bachelor's in business administration, concentration in HR's honors. This is fine. Yeah, this is good. I would put this, you could just say graduated if you want, but this is fine. Certified Human Resource Professional, CHRP. Problem is, this is in progress. If it's in progress for a cert, it usually doesn't count unless you're going to graduate by the time you enter the job. So I don't know if you should put this. Director of Human Resources, business student. Okay, so here's the problem. Also, this person's ratio is unknown. Here's the problem with this. You told me specifically the Director of Human Resources was your business student association at college. That's okay. The problem is they will never hire a Director of Human Resources for a low-level human resource coordination role. Human resource coordination, and a couple of the other titles you said are entry-level. You don't want to put Director. They're going to be like, what? They're going to think you're lying or you applied to the wrong thing. What you should say instead of Director is just, human resources coordinator or human resources at the for a club or whatever, right? You want to make it make sense. So take out the director, because even if that was your job title at that, it's going to confuse people. Representing the human resources team for 2 BSA clubs. What does that mean? I know what human resources does. I don't know how they work at a club. You need to describe that to me. So this is going to be a little bit different. How did you do the duties of a HR person there? Were you doing actual HR things? Were you doing, documentation? Were you doing whatever? So again, I hope you may get to it here, but it's important to put it here as well. Used MS Excel perfect to organize applicant names, degree, concentration, GPA, position for resume, and cover letters. Okay, perfect. So what you want to do here, right, is say, instead of director, is say, as a human resources, whatever, I, did talent acquisition, I did documentation, whatever, and then here you describe how you used it. Because they're going to not understand how you could be a director of human resources for 2 BSA clubs. In fact, I don't even know what a BSA club is. I'm assuming it's a student one based on what you said. Prepared position-related job descriptions, interview questions. This is fine. Reviewed qualified applications. This should all be in like 1 or 2 bullet points, truthfully. This should be fixed in like 2 bullet points. Interview applicants. This is good. Perform administrative tasks related to answering all your queries. What were those queries? Scheduling meetings and maintaining a team's calendar. Again, this part is okay, but what were those duties? Drafted documents such as employee conflict-related, collaborative human HR innovations. What innovations? So, truthfully, and this is kind of the problem, and I'll give you a redo if you stop by my channel, is this reads more like a recruiter than a human resources coordinator. Again, I know it sounds weird, but weirdly enough, even though recruiters or talent acquisition, they're kind of the same thing, are under HR, they do not consider themselves HR, and HR does not consider them. This is more talent acquisition. So off the top of my head, which again, ironically, I don't know all the keywords for talent acquisition, but you're going to want to show that you've used maybe an ATS. You want to know that you have talked with hiring managers and scheduled a meeting with them to make sure that they met the qualifications, and then you could post it. So you're missing a little bit of the stuff for that. And I do want to see more of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Ideally, I want to see some kind of HRIS or ATS. HRIS is for human resources. ATS is for recruiters. It gets weird. And then I want to see that you can multitask. But I think you have the bones here that is correct. So that is what I really want to look for. And yeah, I know that this is a little off of the timeline, but whatever, these were clubs. So you can again do projects and experience. So I don't even know if you were paid for this or not, but this probably you don't need, honestly. Boxing coach, I think you could probably delete. And you weren't here super long, but you may want to have that. So I want to know, yeah, I get it, because you did that. So you want to fix the timeline. You need to determine if you're going to go to HR or TA. HR is human resources. TA is talent acquisition and recruitment. And your resume is going to really depend based on those. And then we can get the keywords though. Also, 10.5 Arial, please. I don't know what font this is, but it's not correct. So let's go to the next resume. For engineer, it's going to be SQL. So education, SQL, cloud. What was the other one? API, probably API. Okay. All right, well, let's begin this abomination of a resume. This is seriously the average. I don't know if I'm going to say that or not, but like people who submit it to my channel have better than average resumes. This is kind of what the competition looks like a lot of the time. All right. 3, 2. This is a resume of I have no idea. They said software engineer 1, and then I saw this because I have to look at it briefly. I try not to read it, and I visibly went, oh! So formatting wise, this is awful. But they graduated about 3 weeks ago and have no internship experience. That's okay. It happens. Then we put projects, but this is an abomination of a resume. So the first thing that we need to talk about is when you graduate with software engineering, and this specifically does not apply to internships, this is only when you graduate, you need to pick front end, back end, or full stack. And if you pick back end, you need to pick Python, C, or Java. My brain stopped working there. And because those keywords are going to be different. The only thing that is largely the same that everybody would want from a software engineer is education, SQL, and cloud, and probably API. Not sure about API, but the SQL, cloud, education. That's all. That's the only thing that they all share in common. So first off, you're going to need to pick which do you want to go into, front end, back end, or full stack. Yes, I know front end and back end are technically full stack. But they have different keywords. And if you need it, you could have 3 resumes, 1 for each. But I need you to pick. And then you have game developer, which is going to be completely different. I don't know what the keywords for game development are. I did not look them up, but we need to pick which one we're going for. So your formatting is awful. I was about to say not great, but it's not good. This is some of the worst formatting I've seen. So I want it to look like this, okay? No resume should be double columns. In fact, this is so hard I can barely read it. So no resume should be double columns. This does not matter. I don't care. I don't care about your summary of how you are passionate about how you are going to solve world hunger. I don't. The only time a summary is needed is if you are switching industries or there's something critically wrong with your resume, which in this case, it doesn't look like it is. So no summary. Then we are going to do projects, because I assume that's what you actually had. Because this kind of looks like you're a job hopper that you've only had like 2 or 3 projects before. Now, maybe it was. Maybe the 2 or 3 contracts. So if this was projects, if you were paid, then it's different. But I don't think you were paid for this. If you were, then we can put it there. But it doesn't look good to have this work history. You're actually hurting yourself with this. Ideally, unless it's an internship or project, if something is less than 3 months on your resume, you don't want to do it. Now, what you can do is combine a bunch of contracts into one, but also you have 2024 here and 2025 here, and then you go back to 24 down here, which people can't even see. So, single column, no summary, should look like this. I want your first and last name. I want your phone number, email, and then either LinkedIn or portfolio, depending on your industry. And then if you are a U.S. citizen or green card holder, put that in the city and state you live. Then education right after that, which is right here, which is a BS, a computer science degree, which is fine. You could put artificial intelligence, but that should be in one line. You don't need to say when you started, only when you graduated or that you did graduate. Then we're going to projects, and I'm going to guess these are projects. These are not contracts. Maybe they are contracts. I don't know. Maybe I was wrong, but they read like projects. Then we are going to do projects, and based on the stack you're picking, so front end, back end, or full stack, or game dev, which I don't know the stack off the top of my head, you are then going to build these based on those keywords. All right. So if you're going full stack, we had a full stack, I think, in this one. If you were going, let me find this, a Java engineer, right? You would want something close to like this. If you want Java backend, it would be like this, all right? Then I want Java, Spring Boot, SQL, RESTful API, microservices, OOP, Git, other APIs, cloud architecting, and this stuff is a bonus. But it looks like you have C. I don't think I have a C keywords off the top of my head. I would have to look for those. So then we need to show what you did, which is a very quick summary sentence under that job. That's where the summary should be, is under each job or project that just says, contribute to the development of a 2D action game in Unity using X, Y, and Z, right? Then we can have C in object-oriented programming, which is OOP. Theoretically, that's good. Git, and then we can have the actual keywords. So again, this resume is bad. You need to, I really hate to say this, you need to start over from scratch, okay? You need to use my resume formatting and start over from scratch. And then you need to first pick a stack. Front end, back end, full stack, or game dev. I don't know what game dev ones are, but those are the ones you pick, and then you find the keywords for that, make your resume based on that, tell me what the keyword is, how you used it, and why you used it, which is in the bullet points, all right? It doesn't count if it's up here. And for the love of all the recruitment gods, stop bolding everything. Please stop bolding everything. It makes it so hard to read, which means we may miss actual qualifications because we have 15 seconds to look at this. I challenge everybody here to find those keywords in 15 seconds, especially, and it has to be, again, here. Doesn't count if it's down here. So that's it for this video. I hope this has been helpful. Please like, comment, and subscribe. That helps me out a lot. You can submit your resume below or check me out on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on Headless Headhunter. No, at twitch.tv/Headless Headhunter. The link is also below. I will see you in the next video.